Hi there, Karen Flaherty from Living by Human Design. Hope you're doing well today. Today we're going to be talking about the gate 29, which is the gate of commitment, also called the gate of yes. Okay, so the sun started in gate 29 on August 17th, and it'll go until August 22nd. So it's basically this entire week, and it includes August 19th, which I'll talk about in a minute. But we've got the sun in gate 29, which comes off the top of the sacral down here. And then it's also called the gate of yes and the gate of commitment. And it's about being, it's literally about making commitments, whether it's, it could be a marriage commitment, it could be a job commitment, it could be a commitment to your family or friends or colleagues. It could be any commitment like that. But basically, when you do make the commitment, usually you'll stick to it because it is coming off the sacral. And it's usually a very hearty yes when you decide to do something with this gate of commitment. And so be careful, I would say, this week with saying yes to things. Be careful in what you commit to. Make sure that you really do want to do that. If you happen to have an emotional wave, make sure that your wave is, if it's up, make sure that you're gonna like it on the way down as well, like it on a good day and like it on a not so good day. And if you just have a regular gut response, you might want to wait out the timing also. Maybe there's something else that you need to wait for to make sure that the timing is right for that yes. So I would just say cautiously be mindful of your yeses this week and making any commitments, especially big ones. Because we do have a lot of intense energy going on this week astrologically. There are no centers defined this week at all. Everything's pretty open as it was last week. We do have in the Earth is in gate 30, which is down here coming off the lower side of the solar plexus, and this is the gate of intensity or desire. And so it's again a very intense energy, and coupled with the commitment, it could obviously have you make commitments that might be based on desire or some kind of intensity in a relationship, for example, that you may or may not really want to go through. Because if you don't actually have these gates in your chart, they'll have an effect on you this week. Basically, that's why we do the transits, right? So that you'll know what's coming up. And so you basically this week, you're going to feel like saying yes, and you're going to feel it's like an intense desire. And again, no centers defined this week, but if you have things that match up with anything in this chart, then you'll be affected by those, possibly by those centers. Meanwhile, Mercury is still retrograde, but so this week and then they have been for a little while, but in varying degrees, or coming in at different times, I should say. But this week we have, besides Mercury, we've got Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, as well as the nodes, the north and south nodes. So that's quite a bit of retrograde energy. And as you probably realize by this point, Mercury retrograde or any other retrograde means that we should really slow down, that we should take our time making decisions, that we should, look inside, figure out what we really want to do, and make our decisions, commitments from that place, right? And so I'll just mention that kind of intense energy. Okay, so we got the 29 up here, and the 30, right? The commitment and intensity. Then we've got the 17 and 18, which is all about corrections and opinions in the nodes. And then we've got commitment again in Mercury. And then we've got the 45 in both Venus and Saturn. And the 45 is the gate of the Queen. That's over here, this 45, the gate of the king or the queen. So it could be, especially with a convention going on this week and lots of politics in the news, it could have, some effect on leadership, on the way we think about leadership, the ways we interact with leaders. And then down here, we still have those gates that we talked about last week. So I just wanted to mention that Monday, August 19th, if you're listening to this before, and if you're listening to it after, well, at least you'll know what was going on Monday. And these are notes from a friend of mine, Rebecca Hansen, who's an astrologer. And this is all about August 19th. She wrote a Facebook post about it. She's on Facebook if you want to follow her, but she's also a human design specialist. So, and I really respect what she says and does, both as a human design specialist and as an astrologer. And I've worked with her as well. So the Mercury retrograde, as I said, is going on right now, but it's also conjunct the sun during the full moon. Now, I'm not an astrologer, so I can't tell you exactly what that means, but basically it's somehow in relationship to the sun during the full moon and conjunct to it. So as a result, there's a possibility that there could be some tumult, some drama, some truths being told, some things going on that might be a little hairy on Monday. And so you just the August 19th. And so you just want to, from Rebecca's words, back up your computers, think before you speak, read all the details of whatever you're signing, double check your plans, be flexible with changes, pay attention to self-care, and get into nature if you can. Basically, it's a day to lay low if you can, because things are going to be happening. And so, it could be another thing like CrowdStrike, a few weeks ago. I think that was the middle of July, right? July 18th or 19th, something like that. That happened. So that's just a month ago. Maybe it'll be something like that. Maybe it'll be, it could be a natural thing. It could be a lot of different things going on. So I'm not going to, speculate, but basically it's a day that's primed, let's say, for things to happen. And so the less things that happen to you, the better. So take care of yourself, walk in nature if you can. There's also a few T-squares going on and other things going on. And again, I don't understand those, but it's just the possibility of things happening. The more you can protect yourself, be aware of your surroundings and what's going on, the better. Not to fearmonger at all, just be mindful of what's going on in your world so that you can be as centered and grounded as possible and, kind of stay in that peaceful, calm place. It is, a time for truth telling perhaps, or drama, or, things like that, probably nothing major, but just to be aware, there are things that have been that other people have predicted. And so we're not in the prediction game here, but you just want to be mindful. That's all. Have a great week. And as I said, be aware of any commitments that you might feel like you want to make, because that's the way it's going to feel. It's going to feel like you want to say yes to things. And if you want to say yes and it really makes sense for you, then go ahead and say yes. But just, again, be mindful of the commitments that you make this week and the intensity and the desire with which you make them, because those will be the energies in the air. So, and in the transits, obviously. So have a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Be well.